webinar just to get all of you orientated using the same terminology and kind of understanding how the product works. And then we're going to slide into a demonstration of both the web interface and the mobile interface, so you'll actually be able to see ELTON in action. Then we'll do a Q&A session. So ELTON is based on the cornerstones of accessibility, so using our mobile application in addition to our web application to allow people to record all the transactions that we do. Accuracy by using automatic identifiers. We specifically use QR codes that are tagged and attached to the equipment. And the accountability, which is our company name, and it's kind of the stalwart of our product. We're trying to make sure that we understand where all the equipment is currently, where it's been, and in fact with reservations where it's headed. So it's kind of that lifelong logging concept of where are we going with the equipment, where is it currently now, and all the history to back that up. So we're going to go through each of these. Basically how ELTON works is each piece of equipment gets assigned a unique QR code, and that's using a module that we've plugged right into the software, so it's not dependent on any third-party pieces. Then the labels get generated with a tag, and that tag should have the QR code on it. And there you can use a variety of label printing software that will generate the QR code labels. We have a full Force.com web application, which is fully integrated to Salesforce. Then we also have mobile applications for iPhone, iPad, and Android devices. And those are just called the Accountability Mobile Scanner. They're on the iPhone Apple Store, and they're on Google Play for Android. And they're free apps. There's no additional charge for using those mobile apps. And then you do things like assignments, loans, counts, and inquiries just by scanning the QR code. If the device that you're using has a GPS chip, and most of them do these days, we grab the coordinates of the GPS at the time that the QR code is being scanned, and that way we know exactly where that device was. So we call that last known location, and we utilize that information so that we can kind of validate where in fact the equipment was at the time that the QR code was scanned. In addition, if you're using Chatter in Salesforce, which a lot of people are, we update Chatter feeds on the accounts or contacts, so you know that a loaner's gone out to an account or contact or user, and we can see that right in the Chatter feed, and we can see when it's coming back. So the feature set, we've talked about a few of these. Assignment is the concept that this person or account has a piece of equipment assigned to it. So that was what we call a semi-permanent assignment. The idea here is that we don't know when it's coming back. It's there until future notice. That differs from a loan in that a loan has an expected return date. So we have a start date for a loan. We have an expected return date for a loan. Obviously, we have an actual return date, so when the loan actually does get concluded. A lot of our clients use automatic reporting like email reminders or workflows so that something happens to inform a sales rep or a service tech when an overdue loan has kind of reached that overdue status. Reservations allow you to schedule future loans, so basically allowing you to put in a loan in advance of it occurring, and then with a single button you can convert the reservation into a loan and edit the dates should they have changed. We record the maintenance aspects for equipment repairs and inspections and those types of things. So you can record costs in terms of equipment or record labor transactions so that you can actually see what's going on with your costs of maintaining equipment. We track the insurance policies associated with every piece of equipment, so we know the renewal information on that policy. We know the current values of equipment assigned to that policy. And then we have a count or equipment audit, so a physical audit subsystem, where again, using the mobile phones or iPads, you can record the fact that this equipment is still active, it's still around, we still know where it is. Additional functionality is the concept of assignments or loans, and in there we support the user object, the account object, contact, opportunity, and we support a custom object as well, so you can have one custom object that we can integrate to. There's Chatter integration for the entire product, so the whole team knows what's going on with loaners or assignments. We do data conversion in two ways. We can provide you with templates that you can use to load the data yourselves, or we do have a professional services group that does data migration for you. There are QR code export utilities built in, so you can generate the files that the label production software needs, and you can use commercial label printing companies to do your label production for you if you need something like an acid resistant label, or you can just purchase some of the inexpensive labeling solutions that are out there, and we show you how to tie those in. And then we've already mentioned that we're tied in with through GPS locations, and we just embed Google Maps right into the application so you can see where those QR codes were scanned. So some common application areas before we jump into the product. Internal inventories is probably our #1 application area. So that's tracking the computers, tablets, cell phones, all the equipment that your sales or service team has in their possession. And so we know who's got it, what the warranty dates are, is there an expected return date. So we just know where all your internal equipment is. Demonstration and evaluation loaners is an area that we have a lot of clients that participate in. So these are equipment that you're loaning to prospective customers or existing customers. And we're looking at tracking the reservations, the loans, keeping track of overdue returns, and we still know who's responsible for the equipment. So in our system, we have the concept of an assignment and a loan, and we'll take a look at that when we get into the product. Service departments is probably our third most common area. So this is for two purposes. One is tracking the internal tools and service equipment that your service techs have at their disposal. So it's their inventory, what's in their truck, or what's in their, the service department in terms of the actual equipment they're using to repair things. And then the loaners. So these people in addition are loaning equipment potentially or parts of equipment out in the case of a repair context. And then there's some customer requirements. We've done a lot of customization for various clients in terms of helping them find application areas that aren't necessarily one of the ones we've listed above, but it's something where we need to track inventories of equipment. And that's really what we do. So moving on, let's just get into the demo. Okay, well, welcome to the demonstration portion. I just took a little break there. So let's take a look at how the equipment works here, and you can have a quick peek at how we're going to do this. What I've got here is on the side, I've got the mobile running inside of a frame inside of the iPhone container there, and I've got the web interface running here inside of a Chrome browser, so we can flip back and forth between what's going on the mobile device, and you can see what's going on the web. So let's have a quick look first at the equipment record. Of course, with all the equipment records here, we're containing some standard static information. So we've got the name, which is assigned by us, a unique sequence number, the tag, which could be an existing barcode, that is some unique identifier that we can use to find that particular piece of equipment, a description, manufacturer, model number, serial number, an equipment type, which is used for reporting. Is it active? You can record pull from service dates, warranty expiry dates, equipment costs. In fact, if I just flip back here, I'm just going to go to another record so we can have a look at a record that's got a little bit more information on it. I'm going to grab the ultrasound controller. And yeah, and this record's got a bit more info. So we've got the pull from service dates, we've got the warranty expiry dates, equipment cost, status is currently set to needs inspection. Here's the QR code, and we're going to actually use the on-screen QR codes for the mobile portion of the demo, although any of the QR codes in printed, on-screen, they all work. And then as we talked about earlier in the slide portion, we have this concept of an assignment and a concept of a loan. And the assignment is basically who's responsible for this particular piece of equipment. So right now it belongs to Leanne Tomlin. This is her name, address, info, and it's currently on loan and expected to be on loan until the 25th of February to Carol White. And then the maps that are embedded here are the locations that the QR code was scanned. So when the mobile phone scanned the QR code label, that is where the mobile phone was located. So these are not active labels themselves, which are very expensive. This is using the technology that's in the smartphone the GPS chip in the smartphone, we capture the GPS coordinates at the time that the QR code is scanned, and then we put that into the mapping engine here to show you where that was. And you can zoom around, you can zoom in, out, you can drag it around and take a look at where the person was when they scanned it. And as we mentioned also, there's lifelong logging. So these are all of the previous loans. We know the loan start date, loan end date, both actual and estimated. We know previous assignments and who it was to, whether it's a user, a contact, an account, an opportunity, and then reservations, which we talked about earlier. So we've got a couple of reservations here as well. Equipment count records, and optional equipment maintenance records. So a very, very extensive view of that piece of equipment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip over to the mobile device, and we're just going to process a return. So the way this is done is we use the date picker to select a date that the return is going to be effective for, and then we add the equipment. And the way we add the equipment is by scanning the QR code. So we're going to just scan the equipment QR code that you saw on the screen. It'll bring up that equipment record for us. And then all we have to do is click that top right button called Return, and it processes the return of that piece of equipment. And it tells us that this piece of equipment has been returned. If we flip back to the browser and just hit refresh, you'll see that the loan has been concluded. So you can see this whole side now, the loan area is blank, and that's because the loan was concluded. That's what a return is. So just to do one other thing on the mobile application to give you a sense of what it does, we're going to also, just going to hit back, and then I'm going to go into the view mode at the bottom. I'm going to scan the QR code and just pick up that QR code, and then it shows us all of the information about that. So current assignment, Leanne Tomlin, current loan, we just finished it. We can do things like change the status, so we could say it's out of inspection, it's now ready. And we can look at loan histories, so we can see who's had this particular piece of equipment. So all the loan histories are available on the mobile device as well. Right? And again, if I hit refresh here, because we've changed the status, you'll see the status is currently set to needs inspection. If I refresh in the browser, the mobile app had changed the status to ready. And you can see it's now, the status has been updated to ready. So all of that is fully functional between the mobile device or the web device, and it doesn't matter to us where you do this. So let's just do a quick look at what it looks like on screen. So let's do an assignment here. So we would select a date that this assignment is going to be effective. What type of a record are we going to link this assignment to? So I'm going to select, let's say, a contact. Then I get a contact lookup. And maybe let's go with Jeff. We can enter a little note here if we wanted to record some information about the assignment. And then we just click Assign. And it's just that simple. So you can see now that we've got Jeff as being the assigned contact. So these are the key fields and key buttons that drive the system. So there's the Assign button, Loan button, Return loaned equipment, and Reserve equipment. And then all, of course, the associated information and records that go with all of that information surrounding that single piece of equipment. So that's going to conclude the demonstration portion. Let's just open up for Q&As.